and we are here on the Kentwood Cast, episode 4, and we're here with the wonderful, the amazing, the multi-talented Jamar Chevis here today with us. By popular demand, I will say, when we started the idea for the podcast and we were putting together like, okay, who could be on the Kentwood Cast? Your name came up just about as much as anybody in the district. So you're very popular, and it's well-deserved because you do so many things for us. So thank you so much for being on the cast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I think a perfect story to just encompass like what Jamar does every day for us and how amazing he is. So I had to go take a bunch of stuff back from our baby shower during lunch, and I pull back up into the parking lot, and we're just getting done with Holy, and you have about 85 of those big, huge railings on a cart, and you're just pushing that thing with everything you got. And I had to run over and kind of help. We got it into the area in the concession stand, but it's just a microcosm of what you do. You take on hard things, and you're constantly doing work for the district that I think, is just so necessary, and we need it. And, so many people are grateful for you. So, we appreciate it, and that's great stuff. But, take us through your day to day. Like what motivates you to be here? What are the things that you feel like are a success, or things that you feel like in the last couple of years that we've done really well in your world, and just describe those things for us.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And
Yeah.
it was great being at East Kentwood and working here for the last 7 years. In the last 2 years, I've been in this role as a safety coordinator of events. And so my day-to-day is the students.
Yeah.
And the spectators, the families that come to our sporting events, and just making sure that we have a safe environment for the students and the families that come.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. And you're at so many events. Like the thing that I thought was, it's like just as you transition to that role, first of all, I was like, that's perfect. Like he's going to be so great at that. But I was like, you're so motivated every single day, and you bring so much energy. So where does that come from? Is it like, do you have to I asked Gary this the other day, do you have to pump yourself up in the car, or is it just intrinsic? Have you always had it? Like when you were a little kid, were you just like an energetic person?
So I think I was just energetic as a kid, but this school, I didn't have a school like this. I went to Ottawa Hills and Grand Rapids, and so this school brings me a lot of joy, just all the things that we have and offer to these students I wish I had. And so I love just hanging out with the students. I love the diverse here. And we got some wonderful, talented students here that's just amazing. And it brings me joy. It brings me excitement every day I wake up. I'm like, I got this next thing that I'm going to do here, and I want to pack the shot a student. You know what I'm saying? I deal with all different diverse students here at East Kentwood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things where that respect and admiration is definitely shared between the student body and you. So that part is awesome. So I in a day-to-day, what does your typical day-to-day look like? Like what are some things that you do that people might not know, or things that are a big part of your day that we just don't see?
So the things that I make it look easy, but I have a very tight schedule, and so I does a lot of planning for our sporting events. Mm-hmm. I'm in a lot of different meetings going on about setup and what's happening in the future and things like that, and how the safety operation is going to happen for that big event or small event. It depends on what it is. And I get to go and hang out with elementary kids and middle school students too. Mm-hmm. I get to see their world and spend most of the time at the high school, because that's where my office is at. But so I do a lot of planning and looking at security measures that we need to use for whatever that sporting event it is. And then I get to present it to our event staff, and they does what I ask them to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that it's part of being a director. So, so that's a lot of responsibility, because it's obviously we always have a sporting event going on. I don't think there's a moment where there isn't one going on. But it's also other events too. Like it's graduation, it's homecoming stuff. So are there big differences in deliverables between an event like graduation, an event like a sporting event, or is it kind of the same thing? Are they all basically the same?
So graduation is a bigger step.
Stressful, right?
It's stressful.
Yeah.
We got ton of people, different security measures that we use than we use for like a football game or a basketball game. It's almost the same, but we hype it up and we make sure that graduation runs really smooth and orderly, and just for those students to graduate and just be exciting to see them cross that line. And that's what I'm here for, to make a safe environment to get these students graduated.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just such a big moment. Everybody wants that to go well. I remember and I do feel that way every year when we start preparing for graduation on our end with production club and the video board and stuff. Like it's just a little bit of added, like, man, we really want this to go right. Let's make sure that this happens. So a ton of the events that we do, you also do. And I feel like whenever I'm here, I see you. And so you must be here a lot, because every time I'm here, you're here. So is there, like, when you're dealing with schedule, because you have meetings at the beginning of the day and you're working with that kind of stuff, is there like a time within your day where you're like, okay, I can go out in the hallway and I can interact with the kids and build those positive relationships? And when is that? Like, when do you do that the most?
So I does it more during lunchtime.
Yeah.
That's when we don't have a lot of meetings going on, and after school. So I can see the students walking around after school and going to practices or going to the sporting events and stuff like that. So that's how I get to interact. Or if I need to go into a classroom, and I'll step in the classroom and just say hi, or just to hang out with some students like that.
Yeah.
So it depends on how my schedule is.
Yeah. And so many of that, like, again, as a safety, as a person who's thinking about safety first, I think it's a next level thing to think about how the relationships that you build with students and the way that students react to you in the hallways, or, when you're interacting with them, can really positively benefit the safety of the school. Right. So talk a little bit about that, because I do think anybody who objectively just walked through our hallways would think that it's a safe environment. Like, I don't think anybody thinks it's unsafe. Like, kids are typically happy. They're typically talking to each other. Like, it seems like this year, the amount of just like things like a fight or whatever, it seems like it's way down. I don't know if that's true. I don't have any of the data, but it feels like that. And so talk about like how relationships translate to like safety deliverables, because that's so important, right?
So one of the things I really strive on is building a relationship.
Yeah.
And so if I walk in the hallway and I don't know a person, I will walk up to them and say, "Hey, I'm Mr. Chevis," or AKA Milk Dud. That's the nickname that the students have named me since I've been here. And the Milk Dud is a relationship builder.
Yeah.
I think, with the students. And they laugh and they're like, "How did you get that name?" And I explain how I got that name, 7 years ago. And it's just awesome that they be like, "Oh, you're always smiling, you're always excited." I don't let anything bother me.
Yeah.
I always keep a smile on my face, because I'm here for those students.
Yeah.
I'm not here for the other stuff. But just talking to them, listening to them, walking with them, hanging out with them, and just showing them that you care. That goes a while. And they love that relationship.
So I talked to Diara before the start of this podcast, and I was like, all right, when do we get into the Milk Dud stuff? Because it's incredible lore, right? Like, so 7 years ago, can you tell the story? Like, where did this start? Because we have to talk about it.
So the Milk Dud name, I was a security officer. I was in the East Wing.
Yep.
I was in the East Wing. And I can't remember who was the dispatcher. They dispatched me to a classroom, and I don't remember the teacher name. And I went to go get a student that was being disrespectful in class. So I'll go grab that student and escorted him out of the classroom. I was walking him down to the security office, and he was just yapping. And I was like, "Hey, man, it's going to be okay." I was staying calm. And he was just walking. He looked at me, and he was like, "You know what? You look like a Milk Dud." And I chuckled a little bit. I didn't want him to see I chuckled. And I'm like, "What do you?" I said, "A Milk Dud." "And what do you mean?" He said, "Man, your head is shaped like a Milk Dud. You bald-headed. You a bald-headed." And so we get down to the safety office, and he was like, "Y'all know his name, Milk Dud." And everybody's just laughing.
Oh,
he was going in the hallways, calling everything, just pointing at me like, "That's Milk Dud, Milk Dud." And then it just blew up. And so, like, that was a relationship builder. After that, students just was coming up to me like, "Is your name really Milk Dud?" And students really think my name is Milk Dud. Like, they don't know my real name. And so
that's why I was intentional to start the podcast with your real name. I wanted to make sure.
Yep. And so my real name is Jamar Chevis, and I let the students call me Milk Dud. It's a relationship builder. it helps them, and I had that relationship, and going to elementary schools, and I don't even know some of these kids. They like, my brother or sister told me that your name is Milk Dud.
Yeah.
So it's exciting just to see elementary and middle school students saying you are Milk Dud, and I thought it would fade away, but it don't seem like it's going to ever go away.
It stuck. It really did.
Yes.
It stuck. So I have never, regardless if you believe this or not, I've never heard that story. But I think it's a perfect, it encompasses exactly what we're trying to deliver at Kentwood when it comes to a safe environment. And also it encompasses your incredible role as this person who is in charge of their safety that sometimes needs to be hard on them. Like, you're going to have to, at times, do things that are not necessarily popular, right? But you do it in a way where students respond positively. Like, look at that interaction. That kid was having a terrible day. He had just gotten pulled out of class by a safety officer and being taken down to the office. And by the end, he's laughing, you're laughing, and you guys have built a day where he can maybe return to class or maybe, go home and say like, hey, didn't have the best day, but I had a positive interaction with this person. And now this is someone I trust, where if things aren't going well, I can approach this person as a trusted adult, and I know that they have my back. That's such an important thing, right? And
Yes,
and I think sometimes people, which is why I wanted to have you on, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is when people view schools, they view schools as teachers and principals, and it's just so much more than that.
Yes,
right?
We got a lot of people that's here, a lot of support staff, teachers, administrators, and we got a great staff here at East Kentwood.
Yeah, but it's also it's people who are working in the foods department. It's people who are transportation. There are so many touch points between positive adults and the students that we have. It creates this web of support that really stitches the culture together. And if you don't have that, if you don't have people that you did not have to do that. Right? Like, you did not have to have that interaction with that kid. Or you could have made it even more negative. You could have been like, oh, why is this kid saying this? Or like whatever. And you could have made that a terrible experience for that kid. But instead, what you did is you turned it into something that created a positive effect on that kid's life. Yes. And I think that's really powerful. I think there's something there. There's a magic there that I think is really important for people outside of the school experience to get. Because so many people don't know what we do on day to day, right? And hopefully, through stories like this, people start to realize, wow, there's so many positive things going on in just day-to-day environments at a school like Kentwood that's really impacting their young people in a way that's awesome.
Yeah, and I thank you for that. And just a couple of weeks ago, I seen that young man at our game. I think we was playing Northview versus EK basketball, and he stopped me. He was like, "Because of you, I graduated, and I really appreciate you." And I felt good when he told me that. And he introduced me to his daughter.
Wow. So wait, hang on. The same kid, the same kid that you pulled out of that classroom on that day came up to you at the game.
Yes.
And said, "You're the reason I graduated," and introduced you to his daughter.
Yes.
Holy cow!
It was awesome. We was at Caledonia when they was hosting the game.
And that was last week.
Yep.
I'm so glad we didn't have you on the podcast last week so you could tell this. That's an unbelievable story.
So
right?
It made me feel good, and I'm glad that I get to be here and get to see students that past graduated and the student that's future.
For sure.
So.
Wow. That's really cool. That's what it's all about, and that's why we're doing this. Yeah. So you get to spend time at the elementary school and middle schools. Like, how is that experience different? Like, are you do you get to interact with the students as much as you do in the high school, and what do those interactions look like?
So so at elementary schools, I get to hang out with them at recess or in the lunchroom, or sometimes I just walk in the classroom and just go and sit at a desk with a student and just see what they're working on, or if they're in art or music. It's different, but it's exciting. They get to see me. They be like, "Hey, Mill Dunn," and give me a hug, or "What you doing here?" And just I'm like, "I'm just coming to check in, see how you guys doing," and they be excited to have me. And I was just at Town Line, and they does like a F&N type thing there, and they had me on a newscast there because the students was excited to interview me, and it was pretty cool.
Man, so you're just doing the media tour right now.
Yes, I am.
That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
And then middle school is pretty cool. Like they at that age, they trying to feel themselves and trying to wonder who you are and what you're doing, and so they know they know who I am because I'm at the sporting events or they come in for practices here at the high school, and so they be like, "Milk Dud, what's up? And it feel like a great connection before they come to high school, so they know a face when they get over here.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. So when they walk in, you're a person that they like already recognize and know,
Yes.
which is also important for this like vertical like integration of kids from elementary to middle to high school. Like
Yes.
it's a scary thing to transition buildings, and really our 8th graders have to do it twice. They have to go from their middle school to the freshman campus, and they all get kind of merged together into one big freshman class, and then they have to do it again coming from the freshman campus to the high school. So it's probably really comforting for them to at least see one familiar face, like someone, and that will continue to grow now that so the 5th graders that you were interacted with 2 years ago will be at the high school very soon. Right. And and you're going to be one of the only faces that they know. And so that's really cool. That's really interesting, that part of it. So take us through, what are the other things? I know that like there's a lot of like outside events that we do too, like things that happen on Saturday. Every Saturday I drive up here, there's something else going on. If you're bored on a Saturday, you can come to EK. You can come to EK, and there's either a volleyball tournament or cheer. So what does that look like? Does that look a little different when we have some, a big tournament coming in, or wrestling or anything like that?
So when we have rentals or sporting events of East Kentwood on Saturdays, it's more of a it depends on what the event is. We have safety officers here, and we are providing the excellent services to them. So like far out, that don't cost a lot of staff, but we here, we show them around the building. We let them use our cafeterias, and one thing we always get is, this facility is very beautiful, and we thank you guys for hosting us, and you guys are amazing, and things like that. And so it's awesome that we get to let people see Kentwood and our all the things that we have here at East Kentwood.
For sure.
And our buildings and stuff like that.
And you guys are an integral part of that, because without you, they wouldn't be able to do that. Right. Like you have to be here to execute those events. That's really interesting. Like when you dive into like events like that and things, of that nature, if somebody in the district was, and I don't want to make more work for you, but if let's say there's an elementary teacher who really wants to host a night at an elementary school, and they need safety, or like they want to start a, I don't know, kids program, flag football league, whatever, right? How do they reach out to you? What does that process look like, or how does that work?
So we have a process. They will fill out a events request form.
Okay.
And then go to Kira, and then on Thursdays, that's the meeting I'm getting ready to go to. We look at rentals or special events that people want to host, and we check off and say approve or not. It depends on the calendar, and then Kira will get back with them. And then after that, Kira will let me know. Then I put together a safety team. It depends on if we need, like, it'll tell me if I need 2 or 3 safety staff at that event, and I'll schedule people through our Google Calendar. They accept or decline, and then I explain to them what they need to do for that event, and then they come on that Saturday or whatever day it is, and we protect the grounds.
That's cool.
And the people.
Because I think sometimes people have really good ideas to do stuff, and I always hear about these ideas as a person who's in video production, because people are constantly coming to me with ideas. But I think sometimes they like don't know where to go next, right? I think the entire scaffolding around this is so big. They're like, all right, what do I do now? I have this idea. I don't know where to do it. I don't know like who I would need at that event. But, having facilities involved and starting that facilities request would be your recommendation. Like, hey, here's the first step you got to take on this end. And this takes time, right? There's a matrix of infrastructure involved with going from an idea to an actual event. And so that's something to get on relatively quickly, so that you have a porch, right, that's longer, and you can staff and get things ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really cool. Wow, that I can't stop thinking. I can't stop thinking about this story. The kid who invented Milk Dud came up to you last week and introduced you to his daughter and said you're the reason he graduated. Like, I mean, this is just, I can't even.
That really touched me. And
I can't even. Like, I'm having trouble formulating another. I'm normally pretty good at this, and I'm having trouble formulating a question. That is so profound. That's really cool. So, I mean, obviously, it's a really busy day for you, and I know this feeling. But do you still look forward to graduation? Is it something that like you're excited about? Yeah.
Yes, graduation.
Stressful, but it's exciting.
One of my best days that we have, and I'm excited about it. I always have fun and just seeing all the smiles on the families and the students that graduate.
Yeah, that's cool. We're going to have Lindsay on when we get closer to graduation, hopefully, to do details. But we are starting an hour earlier this year for graduation. Does that impact you at all? It kind of changes your schedule or not really?
No, not really. Just got to schedule the staff 1 hour earlier, and just that whole day we are setting up. We are putting security measures together and already start pre-planning for what everything is going to look like. So that week I stage things, and then that day we set it all up and we got ready to go.
Wow, that's awesome. Really cool. And we couldn't do it without you, man. So, like, and again, one more time, like, that of all of the people that we could have had on this podcast, you were the number one name when kids started brainstorming. And they actually came up to you, right?
Yes,
and they were the first ones to approach you, because I was trying to formulate my list, and I was like, all right, when are we going to have people on? How's this all going to work? And then they kind of pushed for this sooner than I was like, hey, I don't know exactly how we're going to do this or when we're going to have Milk That on or Jamar on. And they were like, no, we got to do this right now. So, from all of us, from the kids and, from everybody else involved, I don't think there's a person in this building that doesn't see what you do every day. Everyone sees how hard you work and what an incredible impact you're having on our building. So, again, part of this podcast is about saying thank you. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. You're an integral part of the culture and the building, and we appreciate everything you do every day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's awesome. So we're transitioning next week, everybody who listens to podcasts, to a more student section centric podcast about the musical that we're going to have coming up in a couple weeks here. So we're going to have members of the pit and members of the actual people who are in the musical in different roles here to do a big kind of mega podcast. We're going to have to use every single mic that we have. And we're really going to try to pump up the musical and get people really excited about doing those things because that's on the docket. And then as we continue moving forward, we're going to have more information about graduation and other things that are happening in the month of April. So stay tuned for more awesome Kentwood casts. Hopefully this is exciting and fun, and it's an exciting time of year. And also check out our Spotify for all the podcasts that our podcast and journalism classes are making. They're really making incredible content. We've reached the 70 podcast mark for the year. So we've produced over 70 podcasts now, individual episodes that we've edited and made possible. And so we appreciate you giving us a listen. Subscribe and follow us on YouTube, and we'll be back next week. Thank you so much, Jamar, for an awesome conversation. We appreciate it, and have a great day.